Denver International Airport Conspiracy Theory.
Published. And we're live.
Is it?
Yep.
Cool. We are live now on YouTube. It's awesome to see us live. Wouldn't you agree, bro? It always plays back a little bit. All right, ready? I have to always mute this. I always forget to mute that in case somebody chats. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Nightmare 365 podcast. Nobody believes us, but this is the center of weirdness for the entire planet. Today, on Case File 26, we talk about the Denver International Airport conspiracy. Gee, you been to this airport?
Yeah, numerous times.
Is it freaky, or is it just a normal airport?
Nah, once you're in the terminal, it's a normal airport.
Ah, man. So that's it.
Yeah.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Let's call it a day. So we're talking about this weird-ass airport today. We'll give some of our theories. If you ever been there, I'm sure you've seen the tons of YouTube videos that are out there about the murals, about the underground bunkers, about the crazy Mustang Bronco out front. So we'll be talking about that and a whole lot more on this episode of the Denver International Airport Conspiracy. First, dude, let's jump into some weird-ass news. You found this, I guess it was Squatchable?
Yeah, Bigfoot. That was caught supposedly on a hunting trail cam. I mean, it looks pretty freaky. It looks,
It does from the tape. And if you look at squatchable.com, I guess that's how you would say it. Interesting source that we have here from Weird News. It says real life Bigfoot captured on trail cam, and it was posted by Unexplained Mysteries. Do you think it was real? I mean, I saw a couple other people post it.
I mean, it looks pretty real. I mean, also, it just looks like a...
skunk ape?
Yeah, it looks like an ape.
Yeah, it looks like a skunk ape.
But it does look very similar to...
What people describe as a Bigfoot.
Correct.
We're, of course, always going to link up our Weird News in the show notes. You can click on it below. And it's from November 19th, 2017. But we just saw this the other day.
Correct.
So it's cool. It's out of Washington. So it's the same area where people see Bigfoot.
Hey, man, there's probably just a big ape roaming around that looks like a human. I don't know.
You know I love Bigfoot, and I love the story and the mystery behind it. So
yeah, well, there you go.
I don't know if it's real, if it's fake, if it's a hoax. But I actually been watching on Netflix. There's a season. It was only one season, I think. It was like talking about unhoaxing conspiracies.
Okay.
It was cool. I'm only on episode 2. Episode 1 was about the Hitler diaries. Episode 2 is about the Loch Ness.
Okay.
So it's just another perspective.
Nessie.
I don't know if they have Bigfoot on there too, but we'll link that up in the show notes. That was the weird news of the day. So, dude, let's jump into this conspiracy.
Let's do it.
On the Denver International Airport. So there's a bunch of different, I guess, factors that people believe it's a conspiracy.
Yep.
The first one, if we just talk about the history of the airport, and I know we mentioned it on our short case files that we put out on our YouTube channel, and thanks everybody for subscribing to that. We actually had a bunch of new subscribers, so that's cool.
Boom.
Yeah, and the Denver, it was what, the longest runway, and you said it was commercial use?
Yeah, commercial use, yeah, longest runway. Yeah, a lot of people believe that the conspiracy behind it is because Denver already had a airport,
And it was
the Stapleton International Airport, which people don't believe that they needed a new airport just because of the fact that the new airport, the Denver International Airport, has fewer gates than the old International Airport.
Yeah, which I found interesting in a lot of documentaries or YouTube videos that talked about it. Only a few talked about this.
Yeah.
And that airport, the Stapleton Airport, was built in, 1929, and it was used until 1995 when the new one opened.
Yeah, the new one opened in February 28th or 29th of 1995.
And this one was closer to Denver itself,
The
right?
Stapleton Airport,
Right.
yeah. So it was closer to downtown Denver.
Yeah, and like you said, it was a hub for what? Continental Airlines, Frontier Airlines, People Express, TWA, United Airlines, Western Airlines, a bunch of other,
Yeah, which most people don't know though is that they have like a continuing construction going on because like they can add more gates because they have so much land out there. Like if you ever
for
fly,
the new one.
yeah, if you ever fly into Denver, that international airport, there's nothing around it. It's just all like farmland. So I mean, they could expand it. So I'm assuming if you want to go down that route, that people could say like, oh, they need a new airport or it has fewer gates, but essentially this one can grow.
Yeah, and they have their own energy source supposedly from
Yeah, they have
reports
four,
that I read.
They have like 4 solar panel like farms.
Fields.
Yeah.
Which another thing too that I found, there was a dumping ground not too far away from the airport itself.
2 miles away.
2 miles away with
Yeah.
just like debris,
Correct.
the old baggage stuff in the tunnel supposedly.
Yeah, there's like supposedly a 2-mile tunnel that runs out to that debris field.
And
which like when they were building the airport, it was delayed, I want to say like 16 months, almost a year and a half, because they were building the tunnels first. And
which makes sense if you look at it realistically, right?
yeah, and they say like the tunnels are there for like their most technological like advanced baggage system in the country,
which is now obsolete.
Correct.
Which is funny. They spent billions or millions of dollars on this, and it was over budget too, right? By like $2 billion. I think the total capital was what was it, 4.2 or 4.8 billion dollars that it cost to build this, which it does raise questions.
It was the cost of the total construction was $4.8 billion.
Yeah.
It was 16. Yep, it was 16 months behind schedule. And like, it's plausible to think that the tunnels are built for another purpose than just baggage. Like, if you think like,
well, people talk about the rail system too.
What underneath?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that extensively. But they said it doesn't run, I guess, as efficient as it should.
What do you mean, like going to terminal to terminal?
Well, I know you have to. It's not like your traditional airport where you just walk to your terminal area, right?
No, it's
There's
like
3 separate terminals away from like the main.
correct.
Guess. What would
the
you
main
call that?
ticketing area, and then like you go downstairs to
Like
where the tram is. Almost, Atlanta has it. Like a lot of international big airports have it.
Yeah.
Where you take a train or a tram. Like Vegas has it to your actual like terminal. So because it's away from the main area.
I guess that's not odd if people really look at it.
No, it's not really odd. No, I mean that's why that they could. I'm assuming that they could do. When they expand it, they can just like further the tunnels out to another.
Yeah.
Which,
getting besides the history of this airport and the location, and just looking at the old Stapleton Airport and saying, all right, it really wasn't. Yes, it was old. It was from the 1920s, but it was still a working, big enough airport that supported international flights. It supported Denver. It was a lot closer. So we look at those aspects and just say, all right, do we need a new airport? No, we could fix up, certain terminals, I'm sure. But
yeah.
So it does go into why do they build this? And then that gets to the point where, you have the Mason stone that's in there. Have you seen that?
There's a lot of weird shit in the airport.
Yeah, which we're going to start to explain just because it was a New World
New World Order, yeah.
New World Order, New World Airport Commission that was on the capstone of the Freemasons. So a lot of people believe the Freemasons are some type of society, that's there to do harm to people or take over the world. People talk about the New World Order. And what I found fascinating about this too, if you go onto the actual flydenver.com, there's a bunch of different stuff from latest news about the Denver International Airport, marketing, careers. There's art displays, I guess. There's an art gallery in here.
They set it aside, like when they were building it, they set aside like how many millions of dollars just for art exhibits.
Which is, I don't know, why would you go to an airport for that? But I guess
San Francisco has one too.
Really?
Like when you go down to their like main, like
I guess I don't think of that.
Their main hallway, they have like every like 6 months they put up like different art displays.
Well, with this too, I found that and there's a bunch of YouTube videos on it too. If you saw this when you were there, they have a whole display like talking about the conspiracy.
Well, yeah, they have to address it because it's so big.
Yeah, and people talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
Have you talked to anybody at the airport about it? No,
No.
you're just like whatever.
Yeah.
But I thought it was interesting that they actually explain each part of, people's conspiracies, or like, kind of debunk it. And one of the things when we were talking about the New World Order, Freemasons, the capstone
Yep.
that says it, they were like, well, there was supposed to be like a hyphen between
Right.
new and then the World Airport Commission. That's what it was supposed to say, World Airport Commission. So, that's one thing people can look at there. There was a lot of private donors supposedly with this airport, and they don't know really where it came from, even though there's a bunch of other stuff listed on that capstone, that talk about some of the donors and people that had their hand in this. But I don't know. It's a new project, right?
I mean, like, one of the first things when you pull up to the airport is the Bronco out front.
Yeah, that thing's freaky, man.
Like the name of it, the Mustang.
Yeah, the Mustang.
Yeah.
And a lot of people with that conspiracy believe it was one of the four horsemen
of the apocalypse. Yeah.
Of the apocalypse.
I mean, it is a freaky looking. We put it up on our Instagram page, like what it actually looks like, and it's like it doesn't look like the Denver Broncos logo. It doesn't look like any type of other Bronco. It's pretty freaky looking, especially with the eyes, the way like they have it depicted.
Yeah, it's
almost like a glowing type.
It has the red eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up now. This is the one we have on our thing. Just has all these veins. It's up in like that defensive, stance almost for like a horse, if something was attacking it. It's interesting. And it also, the head fell off at one point and severed an artery in the sculptor's leg.
Interesting.
And he died from it.
I didn't see that.
He didn't actually see the final completion of this
go.
artwork. And can you get to it? Because there was a video that I recommend. That's a guy actually walks up to it, takes pictures.
Yeah, I've never tried to get up to it and never cared to.
So that's there is a lot of, I would say, more of this airport weird artwork that surrounds this more than anything. Because do we know about the underground tunnels? Yes.
There's pictures of the underground tunnel.
Yeah, which, they talk about it, and we'll talk more about it. But with this, all right, so say if you take the Mustang,
sure,
or the Bronco, whatever, it was called the Mustang, the four horsemen of death, or the apocalypse coming, and you look at that angle, it does kind of look like that. And then if you take it in a picture, which we're showing here on our YouTube, it does, like with the storm coming in the back, it does look like a very creepy, sinister,
ominous, type deal,
kind of like horse. I don't know. It's weird that they would have to approve this, because there's a board. If you look on, flydenver.com, it talks about how do you get approval for some artwork and things. It's like, why would they approve some of the artwork that's in this, very demonic, the
mural that I don't know, that's really weird to me is in the baggage claim area. Yeah, we have like that's.
I'll pull up some of
that's on our website, nightmare365.com. That's like the most creepiest artwork, I think, throughout the whole airport. Like, just Google Denver airport murals, and that's the first thing that comes up.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of them, and they'll show you, the Mustang out front. But if you look at the story behind it, if you look at the artist interpretation of what it means, and then you could look in that, they have that display where it talks about the artwork, and it talks about how, we're destroying our earth with wars, with, just the killing our environment.
I don't know, but wars I think are needed, though.
Sometimes, right?
For population control. I'm serious.
They
are. Like, if you really look at it, like, we're overpopulated as it is, the world. Like, you could talk about, like, the Georgia Guidestone. Do you ever hear about those?
I would love to talk about that on the show.
And they talk about, like, what the population should be.
Right.
In the world. You need, like, natural disasters. You need wars to...
I get it, but then you look at, like, one of the first murals that's up here. It almost looks like a Nazi figure with a gas mask on. He has a sword.
Yeah, this is the one that
it looks like an
AK-47. Really, really weird to me.
It's stabbing a dove, and it has all these people lined up. It almost looks like they got gassed. They're all like gray, dark figures Looks like they're
like almost like bowing down to the guy.
yeah. And the woman has her baby. It looks like it's dead.
Yeah.
Or like dying. You know, it's just like limp in her arms. Then there's children under a broken city. You know.
Yeah, which you can. I mean,
it looks like a depiction from like World War II or something.
It really does.
And then you look at it. There's a rainbow that connects this mural with a mural on the other side of it. And then now you see the children of the world. You see pretty much every nationality. You see different flags. You see the flags wrapped up with these swords or knives.
And he's like, the soldier's like dead underneath.
Yeah, it looks like a statue that's crumbled. Now the two doves are on top of it. The rainbow's over top.
Like I could see what, and they explain like it's for like
the
peace.
Story. Yeah.
It's for like peace in the world. We should get, everyone should get along. The wars, don't really do anything, blah, blah, blah. But like, I think there's a better way to go about doing that.
It is, and it is up to the interpretation of the artist. And again, you had to be approved by a board, and then.
Yeah, I don't know who the fuck would approve this.
Do people want to look at like that? See, that's the thing too.
Well, most people are oblivious too when you travel. Like most people, like
I would be right.
Are oblivious. Like they're idiots. Like what's gate 70 at? I don't know, the big 70 right in front of you, you moron. Like most people are stupid when they travel. Like so, like I don't think
you just want to go from point A to point B, and you want to get there quick, and you don't want to look at all the crap that's in between.
Like another thing I thought was funny too is like no one really mentioned this, but there's like gargoyles in the baggage claim, like there popping out of like luggage.
Are they all over, or are they just in the baggage claim?
They're to the exit to go outside in the baggage claim.
See, like if I was at an airport and just. See, this is what I don't want to say everything is a conspiracy.
No,
but when stuff starts adding up, like this kind of stuff, it makes you wonder. It makes you really think. Like, all right, is there just so many different hands in the cookie jar that like yes, it all connects, even though it's weird. Like we have the Mustang, the murals. That's weird artwork.
Well, here's my question though. Like, let's say there is like a secret organization that funded this and that, runs this, that there's tunnels underneath, that they want to, control the world and all this stuff. Like, why would you put all this other crap in the airport just to draw attention to the airport? Like, wouldn't you want it like hush hush, like they did in like, what's the bunker under that hotel in West Virginia? Is it West Virginia? Mount,
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
The presidential bunker.
Yeah, but people know about that too.
Well, people know now, but they didn't back then because it was just a hotel.
But maybe it's one of these things that, all right, if we let people on that this is here, they might just look at it. Like you said, people are dumb. People just can't find their own gate.
Sure.
So maybe this is just something that says like this is kind of like laughing. I don't know. Do you ever? Movies do this all the time. With like their Easter eggs, they'll plop certain things in it, to give you hints.
Yeah, like and I Am Legend had like the Batman, Superman.
Yeah. And then there's certain things that always pop out, and people be like, oh, they're like the smart ones, or the people that kind of figure it out, or the people that are looking for it.
Rob DeMarco says they buried 5 buildings, and that they messed up.
Well, that's another thing too, right? They believe that there's a city or some type of building underneath it that goes 5 stories deep.
Well, like when they were building a new Capitol building, for instance, like it came out like that they were building like a new bunker down there after 9/11. Like their whole new, like you can Google this, like their whole visitor center was just a sham so they can build like a whole huge bunker underneath the Capitol building.
Looking at
so I'm assuming maybe they have like it here.
Well, it makes sense to a certain point, right? It makes sense if you look at it where it's located in the United States. It's sort of in the middle.
Almost,
And it would be a nice safe zone if something did happen from the the Atlantic or the Pacific. You're far enough away.
Sure, and then you get the mountains right there, so I'm sure you can tunnel into those mountains.
And it does make and there's also reports, I guess it was in 2011, that when there was a comet that came really close to Earth.
Yeah.
Obama was in the airport or near the airport in Denver, and they were supposedly hiding him out in one of these bunkers. So it does make sense that it might be a fallout shelter.
Yeah.
For something, that might come up.
And like, people talk about like the New World Order and like the one world government and all that kind of stuff, but
I believe there's almost like shadow governments inside the government, right? Like
I think there has to be,
like stuff is too big, right? Even on this grand plan with the Denver airport, there's just too much going on, and if you're running like a secret organization, you're not going to be picking out the artwork, you're not going to be doing all this stuff. You're going to have other people do it for you.
Yeah.
And even like with the president, there's only so much the president can do.
Sure.
And then you have other people around you kind of making decisions.
I was watching it's on the History Channel, Kingpins. Have you been watching that?
No.
It's about like the drug lords. Like they did one on El Chapo and like Pablo Escobar, and like it talks about like how they rose to power and stuff, and how corrupt like the Mexican and Colombian government ones, because they were paying them off.
Yeah.
So they had like the equivalent to like the DEA down there that would just like look the other way. So I'm sure you have like some type of that like in the United States, like people are so powerful that they just throw money around that people look the other way.
Well, too, I always think about if you're a rich enough person and you can come up here and say, oh, I need to build a bunker. I think the world's going to end in,
I mean, look at all those preppers. Remember that show?
Well, that's what it reminds me of. And now if you have enough money, you could be like, all right, I'm going to fund your project, but you're also going to build me something in return.
Oh, yeah, I can totally see that.
And all these construction workers, like one of the things I guess that came out why there's a city or buildings or something underneath is because a construction worker came out and was like, yeah, they're, 5 stories deep. And, some of them can't prove it. There was, news stations that went here and they just show you, well, it's just for the tram cars going back and forth and it's for the baggage people to go underground. It's a lot easier than being out up top.
I don't believe that.
Yeah, I think there's more to it with the bunkers,
Yeah, I think there's probably like a hidden bunker system underneath that they can, house some type of the government or like high level people.
Yeah, you just saw it in World War II. Like even when we talked about Hitler, he had his underground bunker under this palace.
Yeah, they were the first ones that basically, not like thought of, but like perfected. The underground bunker, concrete reinforced systems.
Yeah, you see it with I'm sure the White House with anything.
They were building one when I was there. Yeah.
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 Yeah, and
it was like no one was allowed down there. It was very secretive, and like you just see like dump truck after dump truck after dump truck like coming through, and
which thinking about like where it's built on a swamp. It amazes me that they could actually do some of that stuff, and it's not gonna affect anything. And maybe that's one of the reasons why too that they would go out to Denver.
Because it's rocky.
Yeah, it's not swampy area. We could actually build an underground forts or, a bunker that says, all right, if there is a World War III, we can go here and still have command posts and communicate.
And then like another thing, like another big conspiracy with this is the runways, how they're laid out.
Oh, yeah.
It looks like, the Nazi flag.
It does.
Which it makes sense why they laid it out the way they did, but it looks really bad.
It does.
Like they laid it out in such a way that, because Denver's really windy. If you ever fly into there, it's pretty windy.
Yeah.
It's turbulent just because of the wind coming over the mountains.
So you would have to like pick a different.
Yeah. So they have like, one facing north, one facing east, one facing every direction.
Yeah.
Because of the crosswinds, so that they can land and take off like, in different directions each time. But it just looks really bad.
It does look like a swastika in some aspects, but not. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like, if you're trying to find symbols in anything,
yeah, you can.
You can. Like,
same with like Washington D.C. It's laid out like a
right.
Compass and for the Freemason symbol.
It does look like that too. You could look at like crosses and X's and pentagrams and all that stuff, and you can find these shapes in anything. But when you get realistic into it, when you just look at it, when I first look at the image from the aerial view overhead,
sure,
I don't see swastika right away. I guess I would have to actually see the runways, but then when you put something over it,
yeah, then
like the red lines, you can see it.
But even then, like you could see here, like it's not
perfect.
It's not.
I mean,
perfect.
If you did it like this person did it,
yeah,
it does look better.
Yeah.
But it's still not perfect. So.
It's still not perfect, but you can find any. Remember, like, this is kind of fucked up, but like, remember 9/11? You could fold that. What was it, a $20 bill?
Yeah.
And it looked
like it.
It looked like it. So you can find anything like that.
Yeah, and that's why I believe in certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at it deeper into this stuff, you know, with the murals, with the Mustang, with the air, you know, the swastika runways, you know, the underground bunkers, it does, you know, it makes you think, it makes you wonder, it makes you
Well,
say,
yeah, if just like one of them was there, all right, you know.
It is. When you start adding it all up, even the gargoyles.
Yeah, when you add it
like,
all up,
that's creepy as shit.
Yeah, when you add it all up, it's pretty ominous, and it's pretty like, why the hell would you put all this shit, you know, in the airport?
It doesn't make sense.
And then you got the Freemason time capsule,
which everybody thinks the Freemasons are up to no good.
Which I don't know why they get such a bad rap.
I try to join.
I know, but like, why do you think they get such a bad rap, the Freemasons?
Well, because they've been around for centuries now.
Yep.
And, you know, they have their hand in, if you look at it, they had their hand in almost anything. Just with this country and with plenty of other countries.
Correct.
And
I mean, George Washington.
Yeah, but if people like...
How many presidents were Freemasons?
A lot. But also people, you know, go back with the Declaration of Independence. Only really 9 out of the 50-something were actual Masons.
Sure.
You know, back then it was a gentleman's club, you know, more so because there wasn't communication like there is today. I can't get online and join, you know, a Snapchat group or any kind of group online. You would have to meet, you know, like the VFW, the Moose Lodges, stuff like that.
Sure.
And get together and dispense news, things, you know. But then, yeah, people see these signs, so it's very convenient, right? If you go to this airport and then you see the Freemason symbol, you know, with the capstone, Denver International Airport, it talked about the mayor. It talks about this time capsule beneath the stone contains a message and memorabilia to the people of Colorado in 2094. And then it talks about, you know, the New World Commission, its contributors. So there is a couple names on here, the contributors. Yeah, so when you see that symbol and then you see the murals, you see the Mustang, you hear about the underground bunkers, you're like, these motherfuckers are really doing something.
I mean, it makes you think that, yeah.
Well, here's another thing about this airport we could touch on. What about the AUAG?
I mean, there's weird symbols and
on the floor, right?
On the floor, on the walls, like there's weird shit.
And people say this symbolizes silver and gold. If you look at the elements,
well,
right?
yeah, almost looks like a mining cart that they used to use.
Right. It does. But then you dive in deeper with it, and it's a gentleman from Australia that founded this, I guess, gas.
Okay.
Or what do they want? I'll try to pull it up, try to find it. But it was, I forget the gentleman's name, but with this gas, and it talks about him finding it. Where is it? Did you hear about this or no?
No.
Yeah, this is a symbol. The AUG symbol is a silver and gold symbol, the elements, but it was supposedly discovered a deadly strand of hepatitis B virus, also known as the Australian antigen, which this guy discovered.
Okay.
So now if you go back up,
Mm-hmm.
right, to the murals that we talked about, because we only talked about 2 out of the 4.
Yeah.
And you talk about him wearing a gas mask.
Sure.
This, I know it's not right near the AUAG symbol.
Sure.
Near the guy, you know, with the gas mask on, but it does make you wonder now. Now we start to connect the dots.
Yeah, once you connect all these dots, yeah.
And say like, all right, well, if this is an airborne virus or disease, and this guy's wearing a gas mask, all right, and this is also in the airport.
Yeah, right.
Like stuff starts adding up, and then you just say to yourself, like, what the fuck? Like, who? If you put all these symbols in, what do you expect people to think?
Well, yeah, that's what I don't get.
Like, and then when people come back, well, you're just a conspiracy theorist. You know, you do all this stuff. Like, it's all just bogus. But, dude, all the information, it, like, smacks you in the face. Like, how much other stuff do you really need to say? And I've never been here, so I don't know. All I can go on is these just fucking weird-ass...
Well, that's like when the
gargoyles.
Freemasons, like, built some of the monuments in Washington, D.C., right? The Washington Monument was built, you know, to a certain height, to a certain,
Right.
you know...
But it goes back to
for their meaning.
right.
So
It's symbolism with
Sure.
anything. You could look at symbolism in art. It's open to sometimes interpretation. You know what the artist wants to portray.
Sure.
You know, and whatever mind that they come out with. And sometimes it is really, beautiful. Sometimes it's just so fucked up. But like when you start putting this, like this is what just going deeper into this case file. It's just so like, I don't know if I would want to see some of this shit in an airport. Like I'm already scared of flying as it is.
Why?
And then just have to get on a plane.
Why are you scared of flying?
I always have the reoccurring dream about like the plane crashing.
So,
I'm never on it, but I'm in the field and I see it.
Well, dude, man, if it crashes,
I know.
you ain't gonna feel it.
Well, I would hope I go out quick. I wouldn't be. And I think it dates.
Here you go.
I don't know if you ever saw. We used to watch. What was it? Rescue 911.
Yeah, I remember that show.
And I just remember this probably as a kid, and I remember like an airport. Airplane took off, and then it like crashed immediately after takeoff.
Sure.
And all these people are on the runway, and it was such a hot day, and they're laying on the runway like all hurt, and you see them like, oh. And I guess that stuck with me as a little kid.
Yeah.
Just watching this and be like, shit, I don't want to take off on a plane and then just be on a runway, like just in agony and pain, laying there in the hot sun, being like, oh, somebody help me. Like,
That sucks, man.
So that stuck with me, even though I have gotten on planes since then. But I don't know. I just wouldn't want to see some of this shit. Then you see like dead children, in the other murals where like the forest, the trees are burning. All these animals are like, looks like it was supposedly they're whatever, locked up in cages or jeez, I can't talk, but just like dead. The people are dead. Mother Nature looks like she's dead.
Yeah.
And then in the next one, everything is like a rebirth and happiness again. But I just wouldn't want to see that shit. I understand like the world is a messed up place. We know the world is a messed up place. We don't need reminders of like, yes, I want to go to an airport and see dead kids when I'm trying to get on, catch a flight. That's the first thing I want to see on the stupid murals and shit. And then going to get my bags, which I think these things are cool. I would love to have one in the studio.
The gargoyles.
Coming out of the suitcases. And I think they are amazing work. But then again, it's like, what does a gargoyle represent?
Correct. And why are they there?
Yeah, and then why are they at this airport?
And they're popping out of luggage.
Yeah, so it's like creepy. So they take your luggage underneath these tunnels, and then this is what comes out.
You never know.
What is do you know offhand what gargoyles actually represent?
No idea.
I want to look that up real quick.
Yeah, I have no idea. They're outside of the Eastern State Penitentiary.
They're pretty much on a lot of different buildings. So I guess they're to ward off some things too, right? There's a lot of different legends about a gargoyle and stuff. Talks about France.
Just type in like gargoyle meaning or something.
Yeah, I guess I'll have to do that. But I don't know. It's a weird thing to have in an airport. Yeah, it just doesn't really say anything. I guess it's just
they ward off evil.
Yeah, that's the only thing I could really think of. Some of them are just decorations. So
who knows?
I guess that's a good thing, right? If they're in an airport and they're warding off evil, but at the same time, it's like it's still creepy.
Yeah, it looks creepy.
Well, see, no one can really talk about and which I think
I would like to go into the tunnels.
That's my main thing.
I think that's the biggest conspiracy of this airport. Like the artwork, everything else, the runways, the Bronco out front, doesn't really do it for me. Well, I think it's the tunnels.
Yeah. Well, what about the symbol AUAG, which they talk about, being that pathogen, that deadly strain of virus? Because you said there are other symbols on the floor. Is there any other weird? Because everyone points to this one.
No, I don't think
most research and videos that I found,
there's doves, there's other
so it could be
symbols.
Anything,
yeah,
right?
It could be anything.
And this could just be a coincidence that all right, this was founded.
I mean, it could be a coincidence. Yeah, sure.
Because let's look further into when this strain was actually founded. Does it say it was like an infection? The history. So it was founded
1968.
Well, yeah, 68 part of it, but then in the 1980s. So it has been around.
Yeah.
So they would know by the time.
Yeah, you would know by the time you. Yep.
Building this, so it could be one of those things that, all right, it does have another hidden meaning, which a lot of things do, right?
Sure, it does. Yep.
I'm sure if we put things, like our logo or anything that we put in, we want to have certain meanings into it.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I
I mean, look, my ID for my job has like certain meanings in it.
Really?
Yeah, it's hidden. It's pretty cool.
See, so I do find stuff like that fascinating, and it's cool, but at the same time, when you have them all together, it's like, all right, what's going on?
Yeah, it's kind of suspicious. I don't know. I think the biggest conspiracy for me, wrapping this thing up, is the tunnels underneath. I think like not necessarily a conspiracy, but like a hidden meaning behind why would you build this airport. I think that they needed like a new bunker,
Right.
that they knew, it was obsolete
From somewhere else.
and then so they built this just to cover up the fact that they were going to build like.
See,
But here's my only question with that is on 9/11, like President Bush was like circled all around like the United States,
yeah.
and he never went here. So is it really for the U.S. government, or is it for like a secret society? That's the only thing I would say.
Yeah, and when people talk about like the New World Order, right? What bothers me on some of that stuff, or even the Freemasons, I could see it's like a generational thing. But with anybody that's in a secret org, say if we were in some type of organization, right, and we
Sure.
wanted to run the world, we're only gonna live to a certain point,
Yeah.
right? So after a while, it just becomes one of these things where it's unless you're passing it on through generation to generation.
You could.
But it's like, if I was trying to take over the world, it seems such a long process that you're not going to be in power for that long.
No.
You know? And that's where like the United States is different. Even though we have been changing and there's a lot of fucked up crap that goes on,
Mm-hmm.
it just doesn't seem to me that it's just one group. I think there's a lot of different factions. But I can see with the whole airport being some type of underground bunker.
Yeah, I think it kind of has to be.
Yeah, and it's one of these things that, yes, maybe a certain few, whether it was the New World.
Well, what do you like care about, like anything, all the other artwork or anything like that,
It just
or it just doesn't look good?
it doesn't look good. Like, I wouldn't say, oh my God, this is a conspiracy, because like you said before, I wouldn't put all this shit in here if I was trying to hide something.
Correct.
I'd be like, maybe I would give it like the sign with AUAG, just like some marker. Yes, there's going to be other markers, but this is going to be a marker that's just going to be in place.
Sure.
So yes, the select few that, you might come through, right? You're in my organization and you come through the airport and you have to walk by like this certain area and you say, all right, this could be, oh shit, now I see the symbol.
Sure.
Now I know this is like a safe zone, or,
Yeah, like
or I can contact somebody.
Like the Freemasons have the handshake.
Yeah, with anything, you wear the ring, people
Sure.
see that, you can kind of communicate, then you give like another sign to say you are.
Sure.
So maybe all these added up are some type of sign to other people, like,
Maybe.
all right, this is coming, like this is going to be here.
I don't know, it's been what, 24 years now?
Well, I get it. I mean, they even have like, if you look at the letter at the bottom of the one mural, it's like from, a concentration camp from a little girl that died. So you add all this stuff up, it doesn't look good.
Yeah, it doesn't.
And we don't know the symbols that maybe they connect somehow. And then you can say like, all right, this symbol means like 3. This symbol means like 5. So now I have to go to, door 3,
Sure.
stairway 5 to get down to the bunkers, like where I know, like, all right, the people are here. And most people, like you said, are oblivious or idiots, don't know, like they can't even get to their own gate.
Yep.
But the select few that do know.
Yeah, maybe.
So if you could, I think there's something more to it and we just don't know. And there's a lot of stuff that doesn't come out. And when the news media goes and they're just like, oh, it's just tram cars going back and forth. Like,
Yeah, they're bullshit.
$4 billion. Like, what's that in today's money?
Yeah.
From
25 years ago, yeah.
right. So it makes you think even then, like 25 years ago, billions of dollars were spent to make this, which it was smaller. It wasn't as innovative as they thought it was because a lot of stuff broke down. They're not using any stuff anymore. And we know the government does waste a lot of money, even our home state, right? That whole Xanadu project, they've been talking about that for like 20 years, building like a huge mall, like a Mall of America type thing. And how many contractors have come through that, which they wasted millions of dollars. They destroyed half of the stuff. They put up all these things, and now it's like obsolete. It's not even open. It's such horse shit. And that's what bugs me about some of this stuff. And that's why I don't really like the government per se when they do some of this stuff. But then you have to look, it's not just the government.
No, it's
because it's
the unions. It's
these private entities that have tons of money.
Oh yeah.
That these, people out there that have tons of money that we
I
don't
mean,
even
you look
talk
back
about.
in the day when the Hoover Dam was built, right? That was built under budget and a year ahead of schedule.
Yeah, so it just depends on who's the
doing
people.
it. Yeah.
Right? And then with this, it's private donors. So they're like, you know what? Extend it. We're going to make more interest off this later on.
Yeah, they don't care, I don't think.
I don't think anything to do with, like, they don't really care about the people. It's all, like, just the bottom line, the money.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just, it sucks, but it's a cool mystery. I like it. And the more I read on it, I was like, dude, I have to get out there one day and just, like, see it for myself.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Yeah.
And maybe we'll find some more stuff out there.
Yeah, you never know.
Do you have any recommendations?
What to read or
just watch. I have 2 videos that I want to recommend. They're both from YouTube. I mean, there's not really much to read. If you want to go to that,
there's really not.
flydenver.com, you can find some cool stuff. The artworks, the history. They'll talk about, them addressing the conspiracy. So I'll put that in the show notes. Flydenver.com. But I thought these 2.
15 unsettling facts about the Denver International Airport.
Conspiracy, yeah, that's from Let Me Know. It's on YouTube. I'll link that. And I thought this guy's video was cool, too. The Denver International Airport Conspiracy.
KleshGuitars.
Yeah, it was cool. He just went there. His whole conclusion, too, is like, it's not a conspiracy. It's just an airport. But it was funny because, like, the first part is him by the Mustang, like, filming. And he's like, oh, shit, I'm going to get towed. And he's, like, running towards the car, and there's a security guard there. So it's just him walking around the airport and seeing it. And I thought those were 2 cool videos just to check out for, the people out there that are listening. I'm going to wrap this up. So those are just my 2 things. I guess there's really not much to talk about. It's just an airport, right?
I think so. I think it's just the tunnels underneath would be the biggest thing to me. But next week's show, a lot of talk on the Instagram. People don't believe in the flat Earth.
There's a flat Earth?
I mean, that's what some people say.
I'll be honest. I don't believe in the round Earth.
Shut up.
I don't.
Well, because it's not really round.
Correct.
It's an egg shape.
Yeah. Well, we'll get more into it. But next week's case file 27, flat Earth. It's a hot topic now. It seems like.
It is a hot topic, but some of the theories are fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, but I have a really. Now that I've been looking into it, I have some, good thoughts on it.
All right, the ghost has some good thoughts too.
Yeah, he's not here with us today, but the ghost will be here next week for the flat Earth. Are we gonna do it next week, or I know we talked about taking like a week off and a break. Do you want to do that, and then
we could do that?
Yeah. So it probably won't air exactly. We try to get them out every week, but sometimes I think we need a break and unwind from this. But so. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to today's episode. Again, check out the show notes and visit our website, nightmare365.com. It has all of our podcast information where you could find it. It has our YouTube channel there, our Patreon page. If you can go over there and support us on Patreon, that would help us out. You can contact us. And what else is more there? Nothing. You can find out upcoming shows and case files, when we'll be airing them. Because I always put up the upcoming shows, when we'll be filming, when it'll be live on our YouTube channel. So check that out. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, everybody,
stay spooky.